Yeah, there's a bit of a variety of work in the show. A few of the paintings are drawn from the area where my wife and I spend half our time these days. That's up around the Kagari, Fraser Island area, the Great Sandy Straits. And then the bulk of the rest of the works are from up the Queensland coast. We call it the Cane Coast. But it's my wife and I, we did a trip late last year for nearly 2 months. We went up first of all to an area, Turkey Beach, around 1770 area. Spent a bit of time there, and certainly in the cane country by then, and sort of the bottom end of the barrier reef. And then we gradually worked our way north, staying in little tin pot places along the way until we got up to Lucinda around Hinchinbrook Island and Palm Island group, and spent a fair bit of time there. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world. I was towing the boat behind, so there was also a chance to do a bit of fly fishing, which I love to do. So this show, like the show last year, his works are obviously drawn from landscape, and landscape is an inspiration for what I'm doing. But the show this year's it has some overlap in the sense that there are some paintings from the Queensland coast in that show too, but it's also quite different in the sense that last year I was working on ideas that came from a trip to Japan. This year it's a trip up north, and that's both a change in the source of ideas, but it's also brought a change in the way I work. So when I was in Japan, I was working out in the landscape. All the preliminary work was done out in the landscape with a variety of different media. Sometimes sketching, sometimes sketching on my iPad. But the work had that immediacy, a response to what I was looking at. And when I came back and started to work in the studio, which is where I produced all the paintings for the show last year, I was working off those preliminary studies, but by and large the paintings were still drawn from those initial sketches, and they were not the same as what I was looking at, but it was easily identifiable that there was some kind of a constructed landscape in front of me that I was thinking about when I was producing these paintings. The show this year began with the same sort of studies, sketches out in the landscape, sketches on my iPad, which I find I have a very simple little dumb program. It translates quite well across to paint when I'm back in the studio and thinking about what I'm going to do there. But this year is quite different in the sense that I didn't use those drawings once I was in the studio. I was relying on my memory, and I was relying on what was happening on the canvas in front of me as I painted, so that whilst there's obviously still a connection to place, in no sense are they representations of some particular viewpoint or some particular place. Rather they're an assemblage of ideas and thoughts about the landscape that evolve as the paintings themselves evolve on the canvas.